Recording. आज हमारा जो सेशन करूँगी Kashmir Shaivism, Vijay ji Karnath Bey ka Tattva model. We'll talk about Tattva model. And very slowly, Vijay ji said that we'll talk about these concepts in a very, very slowly so that we can
Study.
have an understanding of that.
Uh,
Over to you, Vijay ji.
so shall I go ahead and start sharing?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
once again, we're trying to preserve for everybody, we're trying to preserve our heritage, Kashmiri Pandit heritage, and Kashmiri Shaivism is at the heart of our heritage. So thank you for joining. Please go ahead, Vijay.
Okay. Can you see what I'm sharing?
Yes.
Okay. So what we did is, we did the part one. So today we'll start the part two, which is the transcendental kind of a realm. The tattvas beyond the 25 classical tattvas. That's what we're going to do today. So in the part one, we basically talked about our 2024 webinars, and we discussed the foundational 25 classical tattvas, and then what we're going to be doing today is part two, where we're going to be talking about the higher tattvas, the 11 higher tattvas, and this is going to start with the objective come subjective creation. Then we're going to be having some fun facts and reflections on Maya, which is basically what creates this Prakriti, this universe as we see it. Some people, earlier classical theories used to call that unreal or mithya, but in Kashmir Shaivism, that's not mithya. Prakriti is real, as is the Shiva, because Shiva is embedded in the Prakriti. And we are going to talk about those realms. And we're going to be talking about, after objective comes subjective tattvas, we are going to be talking about the pure subjective or transcendental tattvas, which are those, rest of the five tattvas, which are the topmost. And then we'll talk about beyond tattvas, Paramashiva and Paramartha, which is sometimes called Tattva Zero. And then we'll reflect on some of this and stuff. So all of this is actually quite we're going to be doing in a steady manner. And unlike the first part, unlike the 2024 webinars, these 2025 sessions are more interactive, and we can stop and ask questions. And we don't want to rush through this. So that's the bottom line. In 2025, we're kind of doing this in a more deliberate manner. So just to remind you, 25 tattvas, which are basically the original or classical tattvas before Kashmir Shaivism came online, was these what is believed in Vedanta and Sankhya philosophy, is all these 25 tattvas, which have the first ones are Mahabhutas, then the next ones are the five storehouse of sensations, tanmatras, and then karmendriyas, organs of action, which is like hands and feet and uh, uh, tongue and sexual organs and stuff. These are the karmendriyas, and then we have the organs of knowledge, janendriyas, and we talked about all of these and how they are all correlated. As you can see, they have got these colors, and these colors are kind of correlated, and the mind is correlated with the earth and smell and all that. So there's a correlation here. And then what Kashmir Shaivism brought in was the 11 tattvas. And these are the macrocosmic consciousness. And these are basically uh, Shiva and Shakti is on top of this, 35, 36. And, but that's part of the five divine tattvas. This is the divine realm, which is a transcendental realm. And each of these five transcendental tattvas that we will be talking about in the part two, are part of the five Shaktis that we discussed in 2024. We discussed many concepts of Kashmir Shaivism, and some of those were, like five Shaktis. And we did not go to a deep dive in them, but they are kind of related to this. And then we have these veils or the limitations, which is this part in the yellow. And these are the things on the left side. These are the things that we're going to be discussing in detail in part two. So these veils and the malas that we are talking about here, these are what conceal the fullness of divine reality, which is this part, the part on the top, the five divine reality, this five tattvas. These are the five divine reality, and the rest of the thing is world of duality on the right hand side. And these veils, in yellow, they conceal this fullness of divine from this prakriti, the world in which we live, the duality, the world of duality that we live in. In this world of duality, the divine is hidden from us and we don't see it. And that's why we don't believe that there's God. It's hard for us to believe what God really is. So those limitations is what we're going to be discussing today. And I wanted to kind of also say that these three worlds, the world of Mahabhutas, the world of these subtle body here, and the world of the divine, the macrocosmic consciousness, and the limitations of that. Basically, this is what the Bur Boa Swa in Om Bur Boa Swa we are talking about. These are the three worlds, Bur Boa Swa. So anyway, so let's talk about the objective cum subjective creation, which is all these. Sorry, when you.
Sorry to interrupt. So on the previous one, so when we say Om Bhur Bhua, Om Bhur Bhua Swaha, we actually refer to these. But ये जो 11 तत्व हैं, ये तो हमारे शैविज्म में है, तो लेकिन ये तो हम across बोलते हैं, people who don't.
Yeah. No, ये जो 11, these 11, imche Shaivism, but it's not that the Advaita and Vedanta, Vedanta and Sankhya did not believe in this. They also believed in Shiva. Is that they did not have this granularity that we put in place. Like, for example, Vedanta called this Brahma or Brahman. So it was there was a concept of God or Brahman earlier also, but it was not understood the same way as Kashmir Shaivism understands it, and it was not granulated the way we have granulated it here. So Kashmir Shaivism did not bring anything new to the table. What they did was it made it more sophisticated and more refined, so that we could understand the subtleties of this transcendental world.
So
the macrocosmic consciousness of the world.
Vijayji, is it appropriate to say then, what Kashmir Shaivism has done? They have actually divided Brahman into 5 things, which are 5 pure things or 5 categories. And then Maya, जो Vedanta कहता था Maya के यहाँ हमने 6 भाग कर दिए हैं, which is all these constructs, right?
I think that would be good. I mean, again, we are having this discussion. I have started working on this about 6 years ago. And I can neither say that I am an expert on this, nor can I say that I am an experiential practitioner of this philosophy. I am, like most Kashmiri Pandits, I am just trying to figure out what this heritage that we have is all about. And in this discussion model that we are here, together, we should try to figure out what this is all about. I do not claim that you are all the disciples and I am the guru and you're going to ask me questions, I'm going to give you gyan. It's not like that. We are just discussing it and trying to figure out what this our heritage brings to the table. Does that make sense? We are in this together. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Okay, so so these are the objective cum subjective creation. So the top 5 tattvas in the classical tattva list, the mind, the ego, the intellect, the nature, and the individual, these are called objective cum subjective creation. So all the ones from 1 to 20, those are purely objective creation. These are all purely objective creation. But these top 5 are subjective cum objective creation. Okay, and this is basically what I learned from doing the course on tattvas under Lakshmanju Academy. So this part was not actually discussed when I read this Tantra Illuminated book by Christopher Wallace, which I have read several times, but they did not talk about this concept. But I just wanted to share with you that the top 5 of these, these 5 are in the classical tattvas, but in Kashmir Shaivism they are called objective cum subjective creation, and they are part of this niyati, the kanchukas, the 5 kanchukas that I'm going to be talking about. Those are also part of the objective cum subjective creation, and Maya is also part of objective cum subjective creation. So this part, the objective and subjective creation. These tattvas are the ones how Purusha gets limited by the next 6 tattvas to create the Prakriti. So Purusha is here, and Prakriti is here. So this is the universe that Purusha sees, and in seeing this universe, Purusha is limited by these tattvas: the Niyati, Kala, Raga, Vidya, and Kala, and Kala. So these are the things. These are the 5 tattvas which are called Kanchukas, and I'm going to discuss these in more detail next. But I'm just giving you an overview first that these are all called objective cum subjective creation. So in the classical theory, which is Patanjali's or Vedanta's theories, Purusha is Shiva. In purest form, when Purusha is realized, it becomes Shiva. But what prevents it from realization are these Kanchukas that Kashmir Shaivism brought into the picture. So we'll talk about these. And this Maya is basically the one which kind of creates these Kanchukas. And again, we'll discuss that in more detail. So let me just quickly say at a high level that Niyati is, this is the 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th. These are the 5 Kanchukas. And Niyati is limited space. Kala is limited time. And Raga is attachment, Raga. And then Vidya is limited knowledge. And Kala is limited action. So these are the 5 Kanchukas. So for example, limited space means I live in the Bay Area and I'm here and I'm not everywhere, whereas Shiva is everywhere. So that's the limited space. I'm going to go into more detail on this later. And then there is limited time. Limited time is Kala, and this means like I'm 70 years old and not ageless, because actually I'm ageless. So my sense of attachment is given by Raga, which is I don't have this and I want it. This is Raga. This is like desire. I lack something and I need to amass it. I might to get it. So this is Raga. And Vidya is limited knowledge, where I have this knowledge, but I'm not all knowing. That's the limitation of knowledge. And limitation of action is I have this limited art or creativity, but I don't have unlimited power of action. I don't have an unlimited power of action. So all of these come from Maya, and that Maya through these 5 Kanchukas creates this sense of ignorance. And in Tantra, Maya is actually a very powerful deity, which is actually called Jagat Yoni, or the world source, which has got the divine power of manifestation. So in Samkhya, Maya is not seen in a positive way. It's seen as in a negative way, that it brings ignorance or suffering, whereas in and it is an illusion. But in Tantra, it's not an illusion. It's actually the source of divine. It's a source with divine power of manifestation. It's the source of the world, Jagat Yoni, world source.
So 2 questions. Samkhya kya hai? What's Samkhya?
Samkhya is this philosophy. There were many philosophies which were there in Indic knowledge system before Kashmir Shaivism came in the picture. So that's what this Samkhya is basically the philosophy. Patanjali's Yoga Sutra was also pre-Kashmir Shaivism, so that was also classical. It also believed in the 25 tattvas, and it
Tatvas.
also believed that this Maya is ignorance and illusion and delusion, and it did not attribute these powers of Jagat Yoni to Maya, whereas Kashmir Shaivism gave it much bigger powers, and we're going to talk about more of this in detail as we go to the next pages.
Okay, before you turn to the next page, can you spend a minute on when you say objective comes subjective creation?
Mhm.
Can you spend a minute by what do you mean by that?
So you see, what we have here, this is the subjective universe. This is what we see. This is what, for example, the computer that is in front of me, and the tables and the chairs and everything else that we see, or the physics that we experience, the physical laws that we experience in everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the objective universe. This is consisting of these mahabhutas, the fire,
Objects.
air,
Okay,
earth,
okay.
objective universe.
Okay, got it.
And whereas these top ones here, mind and ego and intellect and nature and individual, these are subjective come objective universe. There is a subject in it. There is somebody who's perceiving this whole universe here, this objective universe. There is an object of this is an object of this creation, and this is the subject which is observing the creation.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. So again, there's a line here between the two, but both sides of the line are objective come subjective creation. So the top ones are classical tattvas, and the bottom ones are concealment tattvas, the 5 kanchukas. And so these additional tattvas, we talked about some of the classical tattvas here, but now we are talking only about the 11 additional tattvas that Kashmir Shaivism brought into picture. This is the cream of Kashmir Shaivism. These are the 5 kanchukas, Maya, and then the 5 Shuddha tattvas, pure tattvas. These are the purely transcendental tattvas, and we're going to be talking about first these 5 kanchukas, and then we are going to be talking about the 5 pure tattvas. So this is quite a dense topic. So I'm going to first, show at a high level what this is, and these are the 5 tattvas from the in addition to the 25 which are limitations. These are 5 limitations. Then there is this Maya, bondage of the limited perception in order to become a finite individual. So this is like I said, this is a dense topic. What Maya really is, and hopefully it'll become clear in the next couple of pages what Maya is. And so Maya basically is creating these 5 limitations, the kanchukas, and it's equal to the bondage of limited perception in order to become a finite individual. So we are who we are. Shiva makes us, or Shiva manifests himself through us by the power of Maya and limits us. And these are the 5 limitations that Maya uses to limit us. And why is it necessary for Maya to limit us? Because Shiva, without this power of Maya, without limiting himself through this Maya, cannot observe or manifest his powers and enjoy his powers. So he is basically utilizing Maya through these kanchukas to make us as individual beings, so that we can, and again, I'm going to talk about more of this later. So there are these 3 malas, Anav Mala, Mai Mala, and Karma Mala. I'm not going to go into any detail here, but these are the 3 malas through which it creates these 5 kanchukas and limits us or bonds us in this real world. Okay. So, and then of course, as I said, there are these 5 Shuddha Tattvas we are going to be talking about later. So let me just actually have written it here. So 5 veils, these 5 Kanchukas from Maya, unfold from Maya, that Shiva and Shakti uses to target concealment of unlimited divine power. So unlimited divine power lives in this world. This is the unlimited divine power of Shiva, Shakti, Sadashiva, Ishvara, and Shuddha Vidya. We're going to talk about these 5 later. But these are the transcendental reality of 5 Shuddha Tattvas with no limitations. This is omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent. These are the properties of these 5 Shuddha Tattvas. It's a transcendental reality, unlimited transcendental reality. And this is the 5 veils unfolding from Maya to conceal this unlimited divine power, this omnipresence, omniscience, and omnipotence is limited. And this limitation limits his swatantriya also. That means his power to do anything. Power of all possibilities are getting limited through this. This is not seen in a negative way in Kashmir Shaivism. It's seen in a positive way, because this is, instead of concealment, we can call it as armor. He's empowering us with these limited energies. And why is it necessary for him to limit us or empower us, so that we can function in the world of duality, this world that we're functioning in as jivas, as for example human beings, and manifest the field of all possibilities that Shiva is. Without us, without doing this, creating this Prakriti, Shiva cannot manifest the field of all possibilities that Shiva is. So this is, as I said, this is not a bad thing in Trika philosophy or this Kashmir Shaivism philosophy, but it's actually one of the energies that Shiva has. We talked about in the last 2024, we talked about the 5 energies of Shiva. And this is the 4th energy of Shiva, by which he conceals himself so that he can manifest himself. And these limitations actually can be dissolved with another topic that we discussed last year, was upayas, or means. These are the techniques with which we can dissolve these limitations and become Shiva and become unlimited being. So at a high level, I just wanted to kind of first say what these limitations are, why they are necessary, how Maya really uses these 5 limitations to limit Shiva and help Shiva manifest the field of all possibilities through us. And we'll talk more about this in the next one. This is a high level picture. So as I said, these are the 5: limited space, limited time, attachment, limited knowledge, and limited action. So these are the 5 Kanchukas. And now little bit more about what these 5 Kanchukas are. So Kala, limited power of action. Sorry, so not Kala. Kala is Kala. Kala. Kala is limited power of action. There's a Kala, which is limited power of time or limited time. So it's the limited power of action. This is the the unlimited power that Shiva and Shakti has gets limited. This is the action, limited power of action, or limited omnipotence. Otherwise, Shiva is omnipotent, can do anything, but it gets limited. And this is the limited Kriya Shakti also. The power of unlimited divine action is Kriya Shakti, but when it gets limited, it's called Kala. Okay. And this is a fundamental Kanchuka from which other Kanchukas follow. That means these Vidya and Raga and the other 2 that are on the next page, they follow from this Kala. This is limited power of action. Okay. Then there is Vidya, which is limited power of knowledge. Okay. Which means it's not that we don't have knowledge, it's incomplete knowledge. This is the shell. This is again a veil which protects us from by allowing us to understand something about the world, but not everything. Okay. Because it's not everything, therefore it's a limitation. It makes us believe that we know most of what there is to know, except for trivial details. That's what we think. And but it's not giving us the power of divine power of knowing and the Jnana Shakti. Okay, so it's a limited Jnana Shakti. So Kriya Shakti, Jnana Shakti, and then Ichha Shakti. These are the three Shaktis that get limited by Kala, Vidya, and Raga. Okay, so going back to the Vidya, to expand our limited power of knowledge or knowing, we must move beyond words, scriptures, and teachers to stay to a state of inner knowledge through upayas that word-based understanding of the intellect can only approximate. So in our real world, in the way we operate in the world, we are having limited knowledge, we are having limited action or limited power of action. And then the third one is desire and attachment. So desire is ichha, right? So there is limited desire. Otherwise, in unlimited desire, unlimited ichha, I can ask for anything. Sankalpa, I can do ask for anything, it'll get manifested. But we have limited desire or limited attachment, and that's what basically is raga. It's an experience of imperfection and incompleteness. All of us have this sense of imperfection and incompleteness. We need something. We're always looking for something more, whether it is love or sex or admiration or money or power. We're always craving for something in our life that we think we lack due to our malas or our those impurities. We think we are lacking, and this sense of lacking, this is actually the sense of lacking for the supreme reality that we don't understand. We don't realize that, but that's what fundamentally it is. It is that's why when we get more love, we get more admiration, we get more money, we're not satisfied. But when we get the enlightenment, then we get satisfied, and we understand what the reality is, and we understand Shiva, and we become one with Shiva, and we see the Shiva in us. So we don't live in that kind of a state in a normal way. Okay. So as I said, in reality, all craving is for one true self, the divine consciousness. So when one craves, when one is craving, one's craving is fulfilled, it feels insufficient, and craving persists because we are not getting this divine consciousness yet. So in Tantra, this desire is not a problem, but an opportunity to follow it and realize that desire is the limited form of fulfillment. It's a limited Ichha Shakti. Okay. So we don't feel fulfillment, but we are always seeking that fulfillment. To that extent, this desire is a good thing. So Raga teaches us to surrender to Ichha Shakti and, activate intentionality for true self-expression. And, there is this concept of, most of the time we're desiring for selfishness. It's for my own self that we are desiring for. I want the money. I want the admiration. I want the power for myself. I want the love for myself. I want somebody to love me. So it's all selfishness. This raga is basically mostly for selfishness. And if we move from that selfishness to common good, for selflessness, for somebody else, we transmute this raga and shorten suffering through multiple births. So once we move towards this common good, our desire is directed towards common good and not selfishness. We basically, one second. We basically go from, we shorten the suffering by focusing on common good, and we reduce the chances of having to keep on going through multiple births so that we achieve our desires. So we keep on going from one life to another life, because our desires are not fulfilled. So any comments or questions or discussion about it? Because I myself may learn something through that discussion.
This raga, is the same as in Vedanta we say raga dvesha? Is that the same, or it is
I don't know about
that?
I don't
also
know about
is
that.
desire, basically. things which are, as you described. So
yeah, but maybe what that philosophy thinks about raga is dvesha. It's like
right.
it's a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
Whereas
Yes.
in our
something you are craving for all the time.
correct,
So
it's
that
a
keeps
bad thing,
your
but
attachment.
yeah, correct. But if we don't crave for something, we'll never reach even this, self-realization. If we don't crave for self-realization, we'll not get there. So craving is a good way of getting where we need to go.
Yeah, that's true. But as you said, without any results, without any karma phala,
Yeah. So it's a common good, when we are doing it for common good and not for myself.
Yes.
Then it becomes then we shorten.
Then it becomes a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, we dissolve this limitation. We dissolve this limitation by being selfless.
It can still be good thing if you are doing it for yourselves, because if you are craving for it, if you desired something, you desired a mansion, you got a mansion, and your desire is not ending, you keep on desiring it, there will come a stage, what next? And that next might be the realization. Because if
correct,
I mean,
that's another argument for why it's a positive thing. Yeah. So I actually wanted to play this song by Abhilash ji. I am sure most of you have heard this song, this Leela, and I just wanted just a few seconds to show.
One question I had, though.
Sure.
I had a question. So earlier, I think you touched upon it a little bit, and I'm trying to understand it, but I don't think I fully grasped the idea. That you mentioned that if we get rid of these limitations, whether it's power of action, knowledge, desire, attachment, all of that, we'll become Shiva himself, right?
Correct.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
But you also mentioned that we were born with these limitations because Shiva wanted to empower us with that part. I didn't understand. So if we're born with limitations,
right. So I think
empowerment.
Yeah, being basically a physicist, I think about Shiva as the field of all possibilities. Like Schrodinger's equation has got this eigen functions where basically it has got all possible. It has got every possible result is a possibility. Everything is possible till something really actualizes. Till that time, everything is a possibility. There is a finite possibility or probability associated with any result of or any solution to that equation, Schrodinger equation. Any solution is possible. But then when somebody observes and sees that a particular thing, then that possibility is actualized. So we are the observers. When somebody makes an observation, then a particular result from the field of all possibilities gets realized. So we are those people, we are those individual jivas who observe. Without that observation, it's just an equation. It has all kinds of possibilities, but nothing really realizes, nothing really manifests. So we have to be there in a limited way to see something out of that field of all possibilities, to realize one of those one of those solutions of the Schrodinger equation. So being a physics person, I kind of relate to that kind of that kind of a concept in quantum physics, which basically helps me understand what this Shiva is and why Shiva wants to manifest itself. And for that, he needs observers. He needs somebody to see that reality that he is. So that's the way I see it from physics point of view. But if you're not a physicist, if you're not a physics person, you will think about this in a different way. You will relate to this topic or this concept in a different way. And it's all of us. We have our own kind of experiences, our own subjective worldview, and we see Shiva in that particular worldview. So Shiva is nothing. Shiva is nothing. It's a void till Shakti comes in. Shakti is the one which makes it manifest itself and then realize its field of all possibilities. And that field of all possibilities, whether it is the the DNA structure or the artificial intelligence or the clean energy, whatever, you know solar cells or whatever, these are all the manifestations of powers of Shiva in this real world. And it happens only because we are there to discover them, to find them. If we are not there, if the world is not there, then Shiva is nothing. Shiva cannot see itself. The field of all possibilities is just a field of all possibilities. It doesn't manifest itself. That's the way I think about it, Dilipji. Does it make sense?
I mean, it's something to think about, and yeah, I'm not.
We will talk more about it. Actually, we will talk more about it. Hopefully, it will become once we talk about Shiva and Ishvara and Paramashiva and all that stuff. Hopefully, this will become more clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So I actually have been listening to this song, which is Abhilash Ji's is a Kashmiri song. This is called Vardyam Metyuth Yuthnubukya Mangai. Yuthnubukya Mangai kya? Desire, right?
Yes.
So when I go beyond desire, that's the state I want to be in. That's the song. I don't know whether you have heard this, but most probably have. Did you hear that?
Yeah, we did.
I'm sure you have heard the song, right?
I heard it for the first time.
Oh, you haven't heard this song?
No.
You should listen to this, Abhilash Ji.
Yeah.
These songs have come after the Exodus, actually.
Oh.
They were not there when we were listening to Leelas in Kashmir. Abhilash Ji has done it from Jammu. He's like a literally younger person. And so this is the one stanza of that song. And then the second stanza or next stanza is the concept of bhakti, surrender to Ichha Shakti. Muj regna. He just listen to this part. Sadhana. So I found this song very, when I was preparing for this, and I was listening to the song, and I kind of saw these concepts having been embedded into our ethos. These are embedded in our ethos, and as recently as last few years, there are people in our culture who are expressing these ideas. As recently as last few 10 or 20 years. And this last one, when we talked about the selflessness, common good, how we can transmute this raga and shorten the suffering through multiple births. This is another thing that I kind of, again, you can listen to the song in more detail. Nishkam Nangai. Kalchiyan Ganyam Nishkam Rangai. So this ethos is really embedded in our culture. And so anyway, I just wanted to kind of share this with you and show how this raga desire is kind of embedded in this song. And there's so lots of things in our leelas that we don't pay attention to, but lately I kind of started seeing, after I kind of got exposed to some of this, I see meaning in those songs, a lot of those songs.
Vijay ji,
sorry. When you
I just want to say that मैंने अभी link में भी डाला है ये बचपन से my mother used to sing. She had a beautiful voice. She still sings. ये मर्ज शारी का कर दिया. And you know, like to the common person, or even when I was, you know, even right now I'm a common person. You know, it seems like you're actually praying to her for worldly desires, but you know, as I now, you know, I also kind of sing this Leela a lot, almost every day. I've realized that actually one of the verses is I laran se nishior karma khurhe bavani. Um, and then say the author says kotam rozi yunte gatsun kotam rozi creation vadun tar devan sarini chak merge tar devan mitiroste tarani. So my point is, I think I'm just trying to reiterate what you said, which is that a lot of these leelas, you know, we could either you know, read them from or sing them from the perspective of, okay, trying to just achieve worldly desires, or maybe for a higher desire.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, you're exactly right. And this is something that I did not realize earlier. But I see, you know, Vardyum Mityut Yutnubukeh Mangai.
Mangai.
You know, so that this attachment is gone. You know, so this is what I'm trying to say, that yes, it's there in everything, in all the in all the leelas that I used to sing with my grandmother. You know, that's what I mean. Okay, so next one is Kala. This is the desire of this is the limited time, the limitation of time. So this is the fourth prerequisite for embodied experience, and this is again the fourth limitation. Okay, and this is different. This is you know, in reality there is no time. You know, if this quantum physics also today says that this concept of time is actually flawed. It's a flawed concept, and you know, but in Kashmiri Shaivism, this is the fourth limitation, uh, which basically does not show us the reality of timelessness, timeless simultaneity, that the pure consciousness, there is no concept of time. And this thought is actually very well embedded in the Krama school of Kashmir Shaivism. And the Krama school of Kashmir Shaivism is really talking about Kali, Kali, you know, basically, which destroys the Kala. It destroys Kala because Kala is not real. So Kali is that whole philosophy of Krama school. By the way, this Krama school came from the Mangala Dam area in Pakistan occupied Kashmir. The Mangala Dam that they have in, you know, POK, which is now submerged under that dam, because that dam, that area which is now underwater, is where the Krama school came up, you know. And uh, you know, I have actually done some mapping of that area and seen where that area was, and it was one of the richest intellectual centers of Kashmir Shaivism, in the Mangla Dam area, and that concept of the Krama school really emerged from that area. There was a very strong community there, which was there till the partition time. Of course, they must have all got converted. And this Kala actually drives our monkey mind to not live in the present. And the only reality is the present, but we don't live in the present. We are either we live in the past, whether it's the nostalgia, you know, about the good things we had in the past, which is a positive thing, or guilt that we did something in the past and we are guilty about it, and then we think about the future most of the time, you know, fantasizing about what's going to happen, or worry about what's going to happen. We have all these you know psychological issues because of that worry or the guilt, and so that monkey mind is the cause of the suffering. And but also it limits us, and it gives us the way to learn from the past and make the future in this real world. This real world does have the concept of time, but in reality, in the pure world, there is no concept of time. Uh, so uh, So basically, what we should be doing to dissolve this limitation, we should be doing is to experience past and future as part of the eternally flowing simultaneity of present, without grasping for the past or without grasping for the future. So this is another limitation. And by the way, I got some fun facts here. This is the 21st century physics and technology, which is catching up to some of these ideas that we are talking about here from 1,000 years ago. These limitations of Kala, and then the next one is a limitation of Niyati, causality or limited space. So this space-time, these are the two, besides this, besides this Kriya, Jnana, and Ichha Shakti, and the limitations related to that, we also have limitations related to space-time, space and time. And this Niyati is the limitation because of limited space, force that binds us to our actions, notion that we reap as we sow. Okay, we dissolve this limitation when we learn to perform actions as service or sacrifice, investing in the process of action but letting go of the attachment to final outcome. Such actions do not bind us, whatever the results. So this actions, cause and reality, cause and effect, that cause and effect kind of get dissolved. And niyat is also associated with specific place, desha or space, as unique set of karmas determine your location of your birth. And dissolution of niyati leads to all pervasiveness or non-locality. So this is the limitation of space and limitation of time. And Maya, these are the five conjugas, and Maya is the overall thing that kind of creates all of these. It's the top of the hierarchy of manifest reality. While other traditions consider it as an illusion or delusion, Trika calls it Jagat Yoni or world source, divine power to project itself into manifestation. So Maya is the power of differentiation by which one appears as many. So this is like differentiation. And Maya drives the duality, which is necessary for the process of self-exploration. So the divine has manifested itself in this universe for self-exploration and to be able to enjoy the bliss of all possibilities. So Maya is the form of goddess that blesses us with an opportunity for a deeper realization of unity in diversity. So this diversity that we see in this whole universe, once we go up that ladder and we realize that there is one unity of Shiva and Shakti behind all this perception, behind all these forms, then that they're all made of one substance, the energy body of the goddess. So they differ only in name, form, and function, not in essence. Just like all ornaments are made of gold, and that essence is gold, but ornaments are different. Or snowflakes, which are different. Each snowflake is different from any other snowflake, but they're all made of water. They're all made of the same substance. So that same substance is Shiva Shakti. And once this Maya basically gives us the limited perception, but it also gives us the blessing. It's a bunch of blessing is cash kashmir anugrah. So that Maya gives us the anugrah to really see this oneness in everything. So I have here two links. Time is an illusion. This is from February 25, which is like last month. This is a NASA publication, and this link to a YouTube channel, which is from February 2025, actually talks about the time as being an illusion, and it also talks about how this concept of understanding that time is an illusion gives rise to this latest field, quantum computing, which is going to revolutionize everything in the next maybe 20 years. Okay, so this quantum computing is based on that that concept of time is as an illusion, And if you listen to this thing, you'll actually be able to realize that. So this kala, limited time, is actually something that, 1,000 years later, physics is finding. And similarly, space-time is created emergent from entanglement. So entanglement was the topic for which the Nobel Prize for Physics was given in 2022. And this October 2024 post actually talks about the space-time being an illusion. So, and all caused by these limitations. That, and it's necessary for us to be living in this world, because otherwise we'll not be able to operate and observe things and realize the field of all possibilities of Shiva. So I'm not going to obviously play these because these are long, but I have put them there. I can actually, because I'm not sharing this presentation, I can share the presentation also, but I can also just share these links, whatever links I have shown here separately.
I was just wondering about that particular idea, that what should be shared in that WhatsApp chat, because after we listen here and by the time the video is produced, there may be
Yeah.
some delay. But do we want to, share some of the ideas from here somehow in that chat so
Yeah,
that
I can share in that same channel we have. I can share some of these videos so you can listen to them or watch them at your own leisure.
Yeah, I mean, we could also ask ChatGPT to summarize with the AI to summarize this presentation and put some of those that summarized content into the WhatsApp so that it remains fresh in the mind of the people. In
Yes.
case you have a question or something like that.
Yeah.
The only thing with ChatGPT is I feel then somebody has to review what the summary is. Otherwise,
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, definitely it has to be reviewed, not what it says. I mean, yeah, we could review that and then send it. So it doesn't say anything incorrect or just hallucinate on some things. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, the last one before we close today is this more reflections on Maya and five Kanchukas. In Trika, Kashmir Shaivism, Maya is real and all powerful. This picture that you see, Maya is, standing on top of Shiva, living, prostrating here. So Maya is all powerful in Kashmir Shaivism. And, this is a tantric symbolism that you can see. And it's the flow of Shakti. Uh, and this course I did under Lakshmanju Academy, basically Swamiji is saying Shakti deadens the universal consciousness, Shiva, and Shiva is under the feet of Shakti, deadens it. That's what he used the word that, he used to use this. His English was very peculiar, Kashmiri English. So he was calling it deadens. So he deadens this Maya deadens the Shiva's supreme universal consciousness and kills his omnipotence, omniscience, and omnipresence. That's what this Maya does. It's all powerful. Shiva is powerless in front of Maya. And it flows down the unlimited Swatantriya Shakti from the Shuddha Vidya, Shuddha Tatvas, into Prakriti, into the world, while limiting it through the five Kanchukas. Kala, the art, potence, that is the all action, power of all action, unlimited action, is the chief Kanchuka that creates all other qualified limitations in unlimited Swatantriya, including Vidya, Raga, Kala, Niyati, and all the 25 elements down to earth. They're all created by this Kala. Okay, this Kala, the limitation of limited action. Kanchuka give us, Shiva in us, the Swatantriya to realize the field of all possibilities and achieve greatness in the concealment based on combination of qualifications. See, we have qualifications. Some of us are intellectuals. We have a limitation of Vidya. Some are explorers. They go around the world and they find new places, and they have this that's the limitation of niyati. They are not everywhere, because if they are everywhere, then they won't explore. If they have got all knowledge, they won't be intellectuals. They are intellectuals because they don't have all knowledge. They want to know more. They are explorers because they want to see more. If they already have all the powers to, they realize that everything is same, every place is same, I am everywhere, then there won't be explorers. Historians won't, the historians have this limitation of kala, and because of that, they're historians. Poeters and singers, they have, limitation. They have the limitation because of which they're trying to innovate. They're trying to find new things. They're trying to sing more stuff. They're trying to satisfy their emotions or something. So this is a way of really showing that these limitations are good. Without these limitations, Shiva cannot explore and find new things. Dilipji, does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to understand, but I think Bhavkaji has her hand up. What's
Vinny Bhavkaji.
Vijayji, I just have one question. The third bullet point, right? Kala is the chief Kanchuka that creates all other qualified limitations in unlimited Swatantriya. So I didn't grasp this particular point.
So what that course that I did under Swami Lakshmanju's Swami Lakshmanju Academy basically talks about, this is the chief Kanchuka. So all other limitations, whether these are these vidya, desire, raga, or kala, niyati, maya, and then everything else, the 25 elements, they're all emerging from these limitations. The world as we see it, they're all emerging from these limitations, and the chief one of them is this kala, limited power of action. That's what that course said, and I think I am also struggling with that a little bit, but things are becoming clearer every time I kind of listen to these things again. I have listened to this Tantra Illuminated, which I have in front of me right now. I have listened to this like for 2-3 years, 4-5 times. Every time I listen to it, it becomes more and more clear to me.
Vijayji,
So-
here's my copy of Tantra Illuminated. I got it this month.
Oh,
Yeah, I found it easier to download the Audible version of it, and so I can listen to it while I'm on a walk, or I'm doing my workout or something. I can listen to it, I can rewind it, I can listen to it again, so I can internalize it better.
So I think Shiva and Shakti, Shiva is nothing without Shakti, and since the union is the creation, right? So when they're I'm just interpreting that Kala third bullet point. If the union is the creation, what is it? It is Kala. Kala is the action, right?
Yes,
With the action, they were able to create knowledge. With action, they were able to create time. With action, they were able to create all of those tattvas. Is that what it means? I don't know.
yeah, I think so. This morning's Sangha actually had pointers towards this discussion. This morning, the Swami Lakshmanju Academy's Sangha, they talked about this action. They talked about how the birth happens through that action, and that Shiva Shakti union is embedded in all of us. It is what causes the birth and death, and that's all the part of action. The actions, whether it is what we do in the world, or how we are born and raised, and how we die, all of that is creating this universe, because without that, the universe would be gone.
That's the correlation I can think about, but
I can also,
I don't know.
now that you say it, I can certainly recall that that's what this morning Sangha was saying also. So I'm going to stop here today, but let me just kind of delve on this a little bit more. These intellectuals are intellectuals because they have the limitation of vidya, and that's why they want to learn more, and they find out new things, and that is a way for Shiva to manifest its field of all possibilities. Explorers find new places because they have the desire to find new places, and Shiva can manifest, or Shiva can experience his unlimited presence. Similarly, kala, all of these are limitations because of which we can be what we are in this world, and we have that purpose. We come into this world with that purpose, and Shiva gives we are the instruments, we are the manifestations of Shiva to really experience those field of all possibilities, whether it's Vidya, whether it's unlimited, omnipresence, omnipotence, or omniscience. It can see only through us in this world, or through all jivas, whether they're animals or cells or whatever. Okay. So complete dissolution of these 6 coverings is the self-realization through upayas. The sadhana, practice, action, nishkam karma, and all of those things, they are all upayas. And Purusha becomes identical to Shiva with unlimited swatantriya, that is Jivan Mukti, while operating in this world in the highest state of Turyatita. That's the Turyatita is a concept in Kashmir Shaivism that we discussed at a high level last year. So these limitations can be overcome with that anugraha and through the practices, and that's a subject which is a separate subject which we are not talking about right now, but that's a topic that is relevant for this discussion, and we can in future sometime have more deep dives into that.
Is that Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, the practices?
Gyan Bhairav is actually is a set of upayas, 112 upayas. Yes.
So, Vijay, any ideas about what we're going to cover next time, just before we drop off today?
Next time, what we are going to be doing, we're going to be doing one more fun fact about death. What does death mean? And out of this 25 tattvas and the kanchukas that we have learned, what does death mean? What dies? Which of these elements does not die? And we can talk about that, and I'll correlate that with some of the scientific fields, some of the scientific things that have happened, and then after that, we're going to talk about that, and I'm going to kind of show you some latest work that has been done in cognitive science about that near-death experience, and then we'll go to the 5 Shuddha Tattvas, which is this transcendental realm: Sadashiva, Ishvara, Shuddha Vidya, Ishvara, Sadashiva, Shakti, and Shiva. So what these concepts are, and I'm going to basically talk about each one of them separately, and then we'll go back to that Shiva, and then last one beyond Shiva, which is Paramartha, or Shiva Shakti in perfect fusion. This is what I'm going to cover next time.
Next time is next week or week
That's
after?
I don't think we're going to be finishing next time either.
No, it happens every 2 weeks. I mean,
Every 2
every
weeks.
2
Okay.
weeks.
Yeah,
Next time, 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in 2 weeks.
into-
So meanwhile, if there is any other ideas that you guys want to share, let's try to, if any ideas come back, share it on that WhatsApp group, and let's try to.
I will send these few links that I shared, even
Yeah.
including that Leela that I was kind of sharing with you. I can
Mhm.
even put that. You can listen to that also.
Yeah, and what about this presentation? Where will this be loaded?
I can, if you want, I can load that into the same place that I had loaded last year's presentations.
Yeah, let's do that, and then we can also send a link to that WhatsApp group in case anybody is
Yeah,
interested.
what I'll do is I'll make two presentations. One is the first part that I did so far,
Yeah,
and then one will be today onwards.
yeah, and then let's send the links of that also, just in case anybody wants to review it at their own convenience and go over it. We can do that.
No, thank you. That would be ideal, actually, especially those 36 tattvas, those pictures and how they're.
Okay.
Take Maharaj. So we'll do that, and then also if anybody has other ideas, please share that in that WhatsApp group, and any new ideas or new realizations or whatever comes out of what we discuss. So share that.
And I think, like I said earlier, I am neither a realized being nor am I a practitioner. I don't know how to do the meditation and stuff like that. I'm just like most of you who has just in the last 5 years kind of started studying this. I'm still studying it. By the way, I'm going to a Kashmir retreat with 50 other people this year again in September. So, this is just part of that quest. and I want to share that with fellow Kashmiris because this is our heritage.
Yeah, no, I mean, thank you so much, Vijay for doing it. Really, I mean, it's been very valuable for me personally. I'm learning a lot about this particular heritage of ours. So thank you so much for doing all the hard work.
Thank you, Vijay. Yeah, enlighten us.
By the way, Bhavika ji, are you going to be part of the tomorrow evening's discussion that we are going to have with some youth? They're like, people in 20s and 30s, and maybe early 40s. They're all a few of them who are kind of interested in helping to disseminate this information to increase the awareness, because the people who are attending this are not many, and almost very few youngsters are there. And the objective of this work for me personally has been to kind of increase the awareness amongst Kashmiri Pandit boys and girls, so that they see the relevance of all of this in the current day world. So finally, I have a session with them tomorrow evening, and I hope that they will be able to bring a lot to the table by making it more easy to consume, and maybe using their skills with creating short versions and stuff, and Instagram and stuff, to make it easy for youngsters to digest.
Is that a KOA? Which one? Is that a different group, Vijay ji?
Dilip ji,